It's really happening, literally right now. Apple is about to release the new 15-inch MacBook Air, and what a laptop it's rumored to be. The M2 Pro or M3 chip, bigger and better display, bigger size, and the launch date somewhere in April. Sounds too good to be true. So let's talk about all the leaks and rumors about the upcoming 15-inch MacBook and try to separate wet dreams from reality. I'll start with the obvious thing, the display leak. 15-inch MacBook is not a new thing to predict. Last year we saw many reports about it, the most believable ones coming from Mark Gurman. Since then we have been waiting, and now we have a leak from Russ Young. A week ago he posted a tweet for his paid subscribers where he claimed that the 15.5-inch displays for the new MacBook Air are now entering production. Russ Young has always been a credible source of leaks, so I can't think of a reason not to trust him on this. If this ends up being true, this will make me eternally happy. New MacBooks are like Christmas to me. Okay, got slightly carried away. There are no concrete rumors about the resolution of that display, the size of bezels, or any special tech used. Many people are expecting to see mini LED and 120Hz, but that for sure is not gonna happen. Apple won't make a rival to Pro Max in a million years, so we should expect the same exact type of panel as the current M2 MacBook Air has. It will for sure have the same 500 nits of brightness, the same bezel thickness, and the same notch. I wonder when Apple will get rid of it. The next thing to cover is the performance. The rumors about this have been really wild lately. People are really expecting to see the M3 or the M2 Pro chip. According to The Verge, this new MacBook Air could be equipped with a brand new 3nm M3 chip. There are no rumors about the layout of that chip, but we can make some predictions. First, I think that it will have 9 cores standard and 10 cores in a max version. Apple's strategy hints to that. The M1 MacBook Air had 8 CPU and 7 or 8 GPU cores. The M2 has 8 CPU and 8 or 10 GPU cores. Each of these 8 CPU cores should be slightly more powerful than the M2 cores, but when combined, they will surely be slower than the base M2 Pro chip with 10 cores. I think this new chip will add at least 1 or 2 more GPU cores to the table. Maybe we'll see 10 GPU cores standard with an optional 12-core version. Another rumor from Meng-Chi Kuo suggests that this new 15-inch MacBook Air would have the M2 Pro option like the Mac Mini does. Quick reminder, the M2 Pro has 10 or 12-core CPU and 16 or 19-core GPU. We have already done a lot of testing, so check it out to know what this chip is capable of, but I believe this is not happening either. The M2 Pro is a Pro chip and it is reserved for Pro laptops. Apple won't create a rival to the Pro laptop. Just think about it. The MacBook Air will continue to be fanless and the M2 already throttles a lot. Imagine what a cooking stove it would be with the M2 Pro inside. Plus, don't you think that adding such a powerful chip in an entry-level MacBook is like kneecapping yourself? If you could get the same Pro performance from a cheaper machine, why would you even bother buying the Pro MacBook? No, the M2 Pro is not happening, no way. This new 15-inch MacBook will for sure be equipped with the same M2 chip we have in the 13-inch Air. We'll see the same 8-core CPU and 8 or 10-core GPU. Also, we'll get the same amount of unified memory in the base config. And the absolutely worst thing about this new Mac is that the base storage will be 256 gigabytes. That's such a bummer. It will surely be as slow as the 13-inch MacBook Air is and probably be even hotter since the bigger screen will require pushing more pixels. It will surely be the underperformer in the base version. I'm looking at all this and thinking, Apple has hired a pretty competent staff. All those engineers, programmers, marketologists, and so on. This reminds me of my years in college that I wish I could have done differently. I know you think that being a YouTuber has always been my dream job, but before I started my YouTube journey, I was trying to build a life as a graphic designer. And now I understand how the lack of experience has stopped me from doing so. Are you feeling like your current experience is holding you back from pursuing your dream career? Well, I have some exciting news to share with you today. Our sponsor, Southern New Hampshire University, has one of the largest online degree offerings in the country and is a non-profit institution. I want to take a moment to tell you about their graphic design program, which is designed to help you develop the skills and knowledge needed to create professional quality designs. In this program, you will learn to use the latest design tools and technologies, including Adobe Creative Suite, and develop the ability to analyze and recommend media messaging strategies. Additionally, you will have the opportunity to work with experienced faculty members and learn how to work with interdisciplinary teams to solve creative challenges. The graphic design program also emphasizes ethical and culturally sensitive practices for visual media, so you can feel confident that you are creating work that aligns with your values. Plus, with concentrations available in 3D modeling and animation or web design, you can choose the area that best aligns with your goals. And the best part, SNHU is known for being radically affordable, with some of the lowest online tuition rates in the country. So check out this link in my description to see what the current average annual salary for a graphic designer is and to request free information about the program. When you request information, a friendly representative will be happy to hop on a call and discuss how the program can benefit you personally. It only takes one click to start your journey towards your dream career. And now back to the video. I also would like to say a few words about the design. Don't you think that the M2 MacBook Air design doesn't scale that well? You don't need rumors and leaks to understand that Apple won't change a single thing about the design. They will just open Photoshop and enlarge the current MacBook Air. It will look exactly the same, and I have a problem with that, at least with a part of it. I think that the new speaker setup is gonna prevent this MacBook from looking good and consistent. In the 13-inch M2 MacBook Air, the speakers have been moved to where the vents used to be. This made it possible to fully get rid of speaker grills in the front. If we enlarge the same design, the keyboard will remain the same size, and on both sides of it, we'll get a ton of empty space. Just empty metal with no speaker grills. Imagined? Looks terrible, I know. So I think there are 3 ways around that. First, add speaker grills, but strip this Mac off its Air title, leaving just MacBook. And the second, add speaker grills to this and the old model. And the third way, add grills to the new one and hope that people will still buy this new monstrosity. At least with this larger design, we'll get an even bigger trackpad. At least I hope we do, because Apple might just reuse the same parts from the 2022 MacBook Air to save cost. The most interesting thing in all this is probably the price. We don't have any concrete information on that for obvious reasons, but the picture I see isn't all that bright. The 13-inch Air is sold for $1199, so this bigger one will be more expensive. I think it will cost at least $200 more. So for $1,400, is that a good deal? I don't think so. For only $100 or so more, you can get yourself the 14-inch MacBook Pro with M1 Pro chip, and that thing will be miles ahead in every department. The display will be easily 10 times better, with higher brightness, higher refresh rate, mini LED, and thinner bezels. The speakers will be simply amazing, very loud and clear, and the performance will be on another level. The base M1 Pro easily outpaces the M2 chip, even in its beefiest configuration. So I would say, don't wait. This new 15-inch Air won't be anything special, it won't be fast, it won't have unique features, it won't be cheap, but it seems like Apple is desperate to saturate the product line with as many Macs as possible. Maybe that's why they're working on reviving the 12-inch MacBook. Would you look at that? First launched in 2015, the 12-inch MacBook became a massive flop, hot, underpowered, with a terrible keyboard. It really was an ugly duckling in a way. However, the new boxy design and an M-series chip can possibly bring this thing back from the dead. But don't get your hopes up, there is not a lot to talk about here. We don't know anything about the design, display, and performance. There is a rumor circulating that Apple is at the crossroads with this thing, and I understand why. This 12-inch machine will likely be too similar to the 13.6-inch MacBook Air. At the same time, it will be smaller than the 12.9-inch iPad Pro. And judging by Apple's pricing strategy, this won't be a cheap laptop. It likely won't be cheaper than $1,000, which will put it in a very awkward spot. On one hand, you can buy the full-sized M1 MacBook Air for that price, and for $200 more, you can get the full-sized M2 Air. Plus, it also depends on the chip inside. The M2 could be a possible solution, but it is not ideal. And if Apple decides to turn it into something fashionable, the price would be higher. And tell me, who would buy this small thing for more than the MacBook Air is worth. I can clearly see why Apple is doing this. They made a big flop with the M2 series chips and the SSD issue. When the M1 was released, it amazed the world, and everyone saw the speeds and performance it was generating, but with the M2, we saw a slow SSD and a hot chip packed into a neat design. The design won't cut it, but Apple is trying to squeeze as much juice from the new look as possible, ignoring the storage issue. I think this won't fly. No matter which Mac they release now, it will be plagued with controversy and uncertainty until Apple fixes the memory issue. That's what I think about all that. Thank you for watching, guys, and see you in the next one.